if you are in a relationship and you are constantly talking about your ex, whether they're ex-wife, ex-boyfriend, uh, they're deceased, but you're always talking about them, how do you navigate that relationship? Or how does your person navigate that relationship?
I actually know of someone whose wife passed, and I don't think he's ever gotten over it.
Yeah.
And he even remarried, and that marriage tanked, and he's never really gotten over his first wife that passed.
Did he do a lot
cancer.
of comparing in that new marriage, in that second marriage?
I was told yes. I was also told that a few times he called his new wife by his ex-wife's name.
Okay.
So I don't know how long he dated his second wife. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know him very well. But I don't imagine that I would date someone who was whose wife had passed and hadn't gone through the appropriate steps to heal. You know, time, therapy. I think I would, you know, because I don't want to compete with the ghost.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody can, because that, you know, it's just, and then what do you say? Grief is, it's personal. Like, you can't tell somebody.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Right, you can't do that.
It's personal. It belongs to them. So if they're feeling some sort of way, like I miss this person, you can't take that away from them, right?
But don't involve them in your shit, though.
Yeah, if you're not ready to
don't-
date.
Don't take me on your ride.
On your hell ride.
On your healing ride.
Yes.
You say hell ride.
I mean, there is never a right way to do a wrong thing, but sometimes it can be excessive. And we definitely, you know, you touched on some very important parts, like, you know, you have to respect somebody else's grieving process.
Right.
For some people, that process can be a marathon. For some people, it can be a sprint.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to be conscious of that, and everybody's walk in grief is different. However, I know of people that, you know, one of the mates was married to someone else, and her first husband died, and she built a shrine to the first husband in the house. That's disrespectful and unacceptable.
And so what did her current husband have to say about it? He allowed it.
He said, take that
No,
shit
no,
down.
he didn't allow it in the sense that, like, he didn't go to the store to get the stuff, but he came home to a shrine.
Yeah.
Was this for her children?
Yeah, I was about to say, did they have children together? And were the children there?
No, they did not have children together.
Oh, yeah.
Then that's crazy. I just
But-
think the death or loss of someone is personal. Now, I do know somebody who was grieving a divorce, and she talks about him constantly. She moved out of the state because she couldn't handle
Him
you know,
moving on?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
well, he moved on when they were still married. He was always cheating, but yeah, and so she moved out of the state,
So he was monogamously challenged?
monogamously challenged, and
She's just stuck.
she's stuck, and
Yeah.
to the point where I had gone out to lunch with her, and the whole conversation was about her ex, and she always says, well, he's she always, I don't want to say his name. He says, it was just like, I said, you really talk about him a lot.
And do you know you're not together anymore?
Yeah, you talk about him a lot. She was like, do I? Thinking to myself, are you kidding me? It's just,
Yeah. He's still taking up a lot of mental and emotional real estate.
I said, I think you probably should talk to somebody about that.
Yeah.
Because, she's not gotten over it.
She's not going to get over it. What do you
And
think?
So that's a different type of grief.
I don't think that she's going to get over it. Again, I'm a big proponent of, I don't think that people are, in a lot of cases, able to solve their own problems.
Yeah.
I think that she could definitely benefit from, because this problem seems like it's a little bigger than her. And maybe in time it's something that she could do, but she's not going to get past where she is until she realizes where she's at.
Some people feel like I was the first wife. Do you know what I mean? Like they have some
the
sort
oldest, the oldest child, the first baby's
Yeah.
mama.
Oh,
you
the
know,
First Wives Club, we still doing that?
I think that's what
People-
people
really?
believe. Like I was
Oh.
the first wife. Like
I mean, people take it to their level of development. I was his first love. She was my first love, or first love. I mean, so it goes to all of these different places. People want to, I don't know what you would call it, but they want to mark their territory, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they'll use it by recency or primacy or whatever it is.
Interesting.
I feel like it's a sad phenomenon, though. Like if you are, 10 years divorced, and you're still talking about a man who has another wife, a whole nother family, and he wouldn't mention you unless somebody probably asked him about you. You know what I mean? You're not on his mind. You're not in his thoughts, but you are still stuck in that relationship. I mean, you're pining away for another woman's husband at that point, or just a man that's not yours.
It's easy for us to sit here and say that, and I think that
Is
all
it?
of us.
It's fact.
I think that all of us know somebody that stayed too long, and somebody that held on too long, and it's not as easy as.
Women tend to do that.
Please, I know men that do it. They just process it different.
It's okay to be in something too long, but when you're out of it, be out of it. Don't be broken up still talking about, and he said, like you're stalking him.
I mean,
Or vice versa.
I agree with you, but I know that there are people that they have had a very difficult time letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I know.
And it's not something. And these were people that
But why do they have a difficult time? Do they have a difficult time because the other person really hasn't let them go and they're still communicating?
I think there are a number of factors. Some of the ones that pop out in my mind are that certain people are just designed to be married. They're always going to be married to somebody. They're always going to be somebody's mate.
Right.
And I think that certain people, they feel like, man, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful. This person is smart and intelligent. Why can't we make this work? It's the fear of failure. So them not letting go is holding on, in my mind, is them holding on to what they once had or what their perception of them being a failure is going to be.
But was your question about a failing relationship or someone who would not let go of a relationship that's already terminated? I thought we were talking about one that's
So
ended.
the relationship was terminated. I mean, while they were married, he moved out and moved his girlfriend in.
But I was trying to get your perspective.
Right? So, but even more than that, when she moved, she just cannot stop talking about him. And I'm just,
You don't even want to talk to her.
I don't.
Honestly, you don't. I know
I'm
you
like,
don't.
can we not talk?
Can
about
we
this
talk about
mofo?
anything or anybody
Can we not
else?
talk about this
Yeah.
mofo in Timor?
Exactly.
In Timor.
That's your only talking point because that takes
Yes.
up all of your space
It
in your
does.
head.
And it just and I just had to listen to and Marsha. She just goes on about him, and so I'm just saying, like, she's grieving in a different way, and so therefore, as her good acquaintance, I have chosen not to engage.
Yeah.
I have totally disengaged, actually.
Yeah.
So when she texts me, I will respond, but I'm not doing that.
You like, I can't say this enough. I've said this to you like 5 times. We're talking about
Right.
someone who's obsolete in your life.
And I'm saying, because I wouldn't do a friend like that, but she and I are not friends. We're good acquaintances.
You would tell your friend though, this is stupid.
But I told her, like, you sure do talk about him a lot. Like, you need to talk to, and she didn't see it. And I was thinking, it's as plain as a nose on your face. You talk about him too much.
Yeah, I would probably tell
For
her.
all the things that he has put her through, she holds him in this high reverence. Like, it's disgusting.
Like,
But
what is he getting accolades for?
So
Cheating on you?
I don't. Yeah. So it doesn't. I have no sympathy for her. The grieving process is what
Yeah.
I'm saying because of that. So the death of a marriage can be very sad for people. And I understand that. I wasn't sad when it happened to me, but I understand how some people could be.
Yeah.
I don't have any sympathy when it comes to that one, to hers. I just don't. I think it's because she wore me down.
I think
She
that people
did.
process on a lot of levels, and sometimes people are able to compartmentalize it and move on. I think that sometimes people are stuck in places, and I mean, we know people that are stuck in places on a lot of different levels and things. It's tough though, because people put a lot into marriage. People feel like that.
I
Hey,
agree with that.
people feel like I'm a failure. How could I not do this? I come from an
And
example.
wait, let me just
I
say,
took vows
I only
before
wasn't
God.
sad. I only wasn't sad when it happened to me because my sadness happened probably 10 years before I actually got a divorce.
You had
So-
done your
Okay.
grieving
Oh, I had
already.
done my grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time I actually filed, I was good.
She's like, I'm healed.
I'm pronouncing myself better.
Right, I'm healed.
What time is it, y'all? Where do I sign?
But I think that, I know that people process marriage on a lot of different levels,
Yeah.
And if I do this, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
My sister did it. Why can't I make it work? My parents stayed together. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of societal things that make that situation even more difficult.
Yeah.
And then you have triggers because, you might be processing in a way that you need to. And then you see your sister, and she's like, "Oh, guess what? I'm pregnant again." You're
Right.
like, "Oh, wow, really?
Right.
Congratulations, I guess."
Right.
So it's a lot more than just, this relationship didn't work, or I'm going to start over, I'm going to rebuild myself, I'm going to be faster, quicker, and stronger. It has more to do with, some dealing with that whole I failed in some capacity, and how do I process that failure?
But the person who is still holding on to yesterday is doing themselves a huge disservice because they're not living in the moment, they're not living for today, and they certainly can't see tomorrow. So, I mean, any future relationship with anybody, they probably won't even open that door because they're so busy looking behind. You know what I mean? And that's when you want to tell your friend or your associate, you got to stop. You need to talk to somebody.
I have a friend.
You aren't living.
I have a friend.
Yeah,
You aren't
existing.
living.
You're existing.
I have
You're
a friend who was married to his wife, of course, and they divorced.
Okay.
And so her family was not really that family that, that those types of things happened.
Okay.
Okay.
So they took it hard.
No, they
Oh.
did not tell them. They spared them. So for 2 years,
Goodness
they were
grief.
divorced and did not. And I mean, he would
They
come
divorced
over
in secret. I've
He
heard
would-
of getting married in secret, but let's
He
get
would come
divorced
back.
in
He would
secret.
come back to the house like for family stuff.
And they didn't even know.
They didn't even know. And I hate to tell their business, but I have to since I've started. The sister, in a fit of jealous rage, told the mother that the sister was divorced.
Wow. Okay.
So people put, when I say that, I'm a little bit more sensitive to it because I've seen it on a lot of different levels. And not to say that I'm unique in that, but
But they weren't grieving, either one of them. They were just
but
appeasing their parents at this point. They
But the-
weren't grieving the relationship.
no, they weren't.
Right.
But
They were like, cool, we're divorced, but we just aren't going to tell them. So they can move on. What I want to talk about, though, is the person who cannot move on and what that looks like if you meet somebody and you get a feeling like they just are not ready for this. You tell them, or do you try and work it out and see how this goes and perhaps show them what life could be
I
like
think at
with
this age,
someone
we're
who's alive and
We're
living
too
and
old
in front
not
of you?
to listen to our intuition, to our inner voice. So I think if your inner voice tells you that the person that you've met is not ready for what you're ready for, you need to move on. That's as simple
Well,
as
yeah,
that.
that is.
So
But if they check all the boxes except, they've got this issue,
No.
do you check them?
No.
because their grief is theirs. I would just
And
move on.
and I
So
mean,
check 'em.
selfishly, you're probably holding me back from.
Chuck, yeah.
But selfishly, you're probably holding me back from my happiness, and I'm holding you back from yours. It's a very selfish thing to hold on to that person because you give me a lot of what I want. I am at the stage, and I have put in the work to get everything or most of what I want.
Okay, come on now with it.
I mean, I've been through all of those things. I've starred in those movies. I've done the off-Broadway version of it.
Yeah.
I'm not in that space anymore. Man, if I'm not mostly happy, because I know I'm going to never be totally happy, But if I'm not mostly happy, you can't like get me a lot of happy. No, I need mostly or better.
Right.
And a lot of most, more than half. No, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. No thanks.